Okay, I'm going to attempt here to talk a little bit about the DRS and Hawkeye and why I think the reason that the way that they do the umpire's call is wrong. So what I've got here is I've got two situations. On the left, I have a leg spinner bowling to a left-hander. He's hit him on the back pad. And so what we can see if we zoom in here, we can see with my very, very bad drawing, we can see the ball hitting on the back pad. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the predicted path that the computer would use and show how it might or might not be hitting. Right, so it's going to continue on that way. And the ball looks like it's going to be taking just half of leg stump. We're not really sure. Right. And so this one here would come up as umpire's call, because half the ball would be just outside the leg stump. However, if we think about the margin of error, and we know that it's actually really quite close, what we should be looking at instead is where is the furthest outside the ball, the left-hand side of the ball could be, and where is the furthest the right-hand side of the ball could be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this one in like this. And we're going to say it's pretty close, something like that, and something like that. And so what we can see is that the very edge of where the left-hand side, or the right-hand side of the ball could be, is still going to be hitting the stumps. So even though this one comes out as umpire's call, it shouldn't be umpire's call. And the reason it comes out umpire's call is because of this one over on this side, which is the reason why they have it. This one here, we've hit the front pad. And if we hit the front pad, and this is the reason they've set it up like this, simply to mean that that they have the half ball thing, which is a really simple rule. And so if this one continues on, let's make that a little bit wider so we can see it. This one continues on the predicted path. It's going to hit the stumps. But we can't really be sure of it, because if we look at it with the half ball rule, the outside of the ball, if we look at it where the outside of the ball could be, it could be there, or the outside of the ball could be here. Now with this one here, the ball's not hitting the stumps. So they've made the rule for if a ball hits the batsman on the front foot. The issue that happens though is if the ball hits the batsman on the back foot, over here. If instead of showing the predicted path, they showed the possible options of where the ball could be, so you put two balls, one the furthest left, one the furthest right on the footage, all of a sudden it would make a whole lot more sense. If you put the 95th confidence interval there, you'd be able to see, is there any chance that the ball is missing the stumps? So rather than looking at the middle, you're looking at the edge of the boundaries. Statistically, it's a lot more sensible, but intuitively, it's also a lot more sensible, and it means it will get the right option, the right decision made more often. So here's what it would look like. What you could do for one, the difficulty is, if it's one it's clearly not bouncing over the top, we could put a couple of cricket balls here like this. There's one, and we can see that one there we can't be sure of. The problems come when the ball's up a little bit higher. Right? If we have the ball up around here somewhere, then rather than doing that, what we could do is we could have the zone where we can be sure it's going to hit. And for this one here, we would be sure, well, we wouldn't be sure of anything for this one, because there's no overlap, they're too far apart. But if we had ones that were a little bit closer, we could draw a target around that. This would be the area that we are sure the ball's going to hit in there. And then we'd have the umpire's call zone, which would say be around here. Be around here. And anything in that area, if the wickets were in that area, it would be umpire's call. So for that one there, we could be confident that that ball would be hitting the stumps. Right. If instead we had one that was drawn like this, then that one would be an umpire's call. If it was given out, then it's entirely possible the ball would hit the stumps. But if it was given not out, then it's entirely possible that the ball would miss it. Given that, that would be a much better way of doing it than the current half a ball rule.